Hello everybody, it is your boy GZTV back with another video, and in this video we are going to be reviewing, talking about the plot, all this stuff of Ozark Season 4 Episode 2, Let the World Spin. I mean, the waters are rising in this show, the main storylines are starting to kind of show through and become very distinguishable, so yeah, let's talk through the plot, maybe give a slight review, in the end, and let's go. So the second episode of every season of Ozark is typically a transitional one from the last couple. Obviously, 1, 2, and 3 were the same way. The creators have always been smart about hooking viewers with the premiere and then segueing to the meat of the season, and that kind of feels like the case here. They're kind of following that formula. And sometimes when a show follows a formula, they don't do it very successfully. Dexter's definitely suffered from formulaic issues, but this show actually does this really well each time. It's another solid television episode with some powerful character beats by Julia Garner, but it ultimately won't be anyone's favorite chapter by the end of the run. No man can serve two masters, says Darlene to Jonah, amplifying further the sense that Jonah will someday have to choose between Ruth and his family, and it's probably going to come within the next probably 5 or so episodes, I would have to say. It's only one of many tense moments in Let the Great World Spin, an accumulation of judgments and careful considerations. It's almost like the characters in this world know this is the last season and know they have to make big decisions, know they have to ball out, and yeah. Everything feels weighted and heavier than the first 3 seasons. It feels like, yeah, this actually is the end. And it's kind of weird to kind of create that atmosphere as a show creator, but I'm not mad at it. So after an emotional prologue with Ruth, the main narrative of the episode really kicks in when Marty goes to see Maya in Jefferson City, passing a billboard of the missing Sheriff Nixon on the way. He's the talk of the town right now, this missing sheriff. People loved this guy, obviously, It has to be weird to drive past missing posters for bodies you cremated, especially to bring a baby gift to someone who has tried to put you in jail. So a lot of interesting situations this show. Yeah, there's a lot of dilemmas that the show kind of creates. He asks Maya what it would take to launder Navarro, whatever, to have him be safe in the eyes of the FBI. It's going to be huge. Names, product, time behind bars. You're going to have to tell him damn near fucking everything. I mean, we're talking about Omar Navarro, the head of a cartel. What are we doing? It's probably more than he's willing to give. How can Marty bridge that gap between what Omar will concede and what Maya needs to make him clean? So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. This is a really interesting task for the birds. It's a very difficult problem for them to solve. So yeah. So back at home, Wendy finally notices that the box of Ben's ashes is gone after a whole episode, and then it's fine. Just not noticing shit. I don't know. It's really weird that she just noticed it now. Jonah tells her what he did. He's wonderfully blunt with his mother this season, and Wendy goes off to talk to Ruth, flames shooting out of her ears. I don't know why you're blaming Ruth. It's not like Ruth demanded Ben's ashes. Jonah just offered to give her them. So it's kind of weird how Wendy was acting really angry towards her. I didn't feel like that was super appropriate on her character's part. I don't know. She demands they be returned, and Garner sells Ruth's anger and grief beautifully. Wendy gets mean. He would have been done with you in a month, she tells Ruth. Much will be written about who will survive Ozark throughout this final season, but Wendy Bird is becoming so increasingly unlikable that one has to wonder if the writers are setting it up so her demise will be less painful. Ruth, of course, gets the perfect comeback in if you hadn't killed him first. So yeah, Wendy is starting to become a kind of a shitty character. Not because she's badly performed or that she doesn't get involved with the show, but you just do not like this person anymore. You used to kind of respect Wendy for what she was trying to do. Now she's just a piece of shit. It makes sense. It's a product of what she's went through, but still, man, I don't know. It's crazy. I'm sure there's just a roller coaster of emotions there. We still have a long ways to go to talk about this episode. Omar Navarro is ready to meet with Maya and the FBI, but he's got family drama that's even more tempestuous than the birds. He even has to punch his nephew, pointing out that killing Sheriff Nix was a horrible decision. It could bring more pressure down on them just as they're trying to pull off the impossible move of cleaning a criminal empire. Yeah, why the fuck would you kill the sheriff of the town where one of your business partners is operating in? I feel like that's gotta be one of the dumbest things you could have possibly did. And Javier is definitely a super annoying character that no one likes. However, that decision looks likely to impact Darlene's empire first. Cosgrove cuts off his deal with Darlene because she no longer has Nyx's support and can't really trust anything now that the sheriff is fucking dead. Naturally, they're all going to know that Nyx was killed as a signal to them. They're not dummies, so Javi's warning to the competition appears to have worked, at least for now. So in this Ozarks, Nyx's replacement, a sheriff named Guerrero, played by Cece Castillo, who's a new person to the show, has to dig through the muck in this corner of the country. She finds the business card from Mel that says, "Do your fucking job." Is Mel going to be pinned for Nyx's death or just help pull at the right threads to unravel everything? It does look oddly specific to put that on a fucking business card and then the sheriff be dead a couple days after that meeting. Darlene comes in next and tries to sweet talk Guerrero, but she knows about the deal between Snow and Nyx and asks Darlene to save the bribery charge for the next guy. She's not trying to fucking deal with this right now. She has a lot on her plate. Obviously, Sheriff Nyx had his hands in a lot of fucking things, so yeah. So Wendy's attempts to elevate her standing in society continue as she meets with Jim Rattlesdorf, played by Damian Young, about how to grab power in a way that can be used to clean Omar Navarro. If they have enough capital, they can clean that business easily. She wants elections to run through her. He suggests 5 key players in 5 states on the board: Missouri, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Ohio. 5 states that have played major roles in recent elections. So, Wendy is back in political shark mode, trying to be a kingmaker. One of the more interesting dynamics in Ozark is that Marty Bird is an introvert who is married to an extrovert. His instinct is to stay behind the scenes and shelter in place when it gets stormy. Hers is to be out front, leading the charge into battle. So it's really cool to see the altering personalities in their marriage. I think that is a really interesting thing, and it creates a lot of interesting situations. To that end, she's off to Chicago to talk to a businesswoman named Claire Shaw, another new character introduced, played by Katrina Lenk, the head of Shaw Medical Solutions. So Wendy wants Claire's family company, an opioid manufacturer, to fund the building of 3 brand new state-of-the-art medical health and rehab centers and have their name kind of slapped on there. Claire's interested in the positive PR since her brother was previously ousted as CEO for publicly blaming drug users for creating the opioid crisis. Kind of a controversial thing to do there. But Claire is also hesitant, mentioning the disaster at the fundraiser last season, and Wendy explains that Ben had bipolar disorder and lies that he also had addiction issues. That's why these rehabs are so important to Wendy, and it kind of creates this segue into her motivation behind these centers, and it kind of creates like this heartwarming story of hers, It's crazy how she just improvised that. Sorry. Wendy has an amazing ability to selectively choose truths and make up stories that fit her needs. Yes, Ben had issues, and it feels like Wendy would have sympathy for those in need because of that connection, but she's also a criminal power broker who betrayed him and will now say whatever she wants about him to get her way. So yeah, it's kind of as fucked up as it is, I guess you kind of gotta respect it. Before Wendy went to Chicago, Jonah told Mom and Dad about laundering money for Ruth, leading Marty to intercede. It doesn't work, but Ruth does head off to Chicago to try and build the Snell distribution line through a chef named Carrie Stone, who's played by Eric Layden. It leads to a scene in which Ruth tries the product to prove it's good, and the foreboding music here is not a good sign. And it's kind of fucked up that he made her try the product. Will Ruth get hooked on her own supply? It may not matter because Darlene selfishly kills the deal anyway. Why? Is it just control? Darlene embarrasses Ruth and makes clear that she's above her in the power structure. You're not making any of these decisions. You're not bringing in clients, It's her farm or her product, and it's also clear that Wyatt is going to side with Darlene, which is super fucked up for Ruth. You gotta feel bad for her. Did Ruth trade one couple who didn't appreciate her in the birds for another, and Darlene and Wyatt? It's almost like she's in the exact same boat here. It's kind of fucked. See, that's crazy. Ruth might get addicted to the product. That sucks. Wendy and Marty meet with Claire Shaw, and the tone is a lot different than Wendy's emotional pull is in Chicago. Marty pulls out the numbers, revealing that the Shaw opioid division is about to go bankrupt. They need raw materials for their product, and the birds can provide that at a much more affordable rate, leading to a 65% cost reduction. They could save $300 million and then donate half of that to the Birds Foundation. It's highly illegal, but it benefits everyone, a form of laundering that takes the drug from illegal supply routes into pharmacies worldwide. So yeah, they are super fucking good at finessing and making deals here, aren't they? 10 sequences close the episode. The first is at Helen's house, where Javi forces Marty to clean up the mess left by the murder of Nix. When Sheriff Guerrero shows up, he almost meets the same fate. If she would have caught Javi, she would have been dead as well. And Jonah has another confrontation with his mother, in which he reveals that he knows they disposed of Nix's body. But the episode ends on the lead up to the meeting between Navarro and Maya, which is so intense and so crazy. Of course, Mel, the PI, comes sneaking around the house at the wrong time, getting a gun pulled on him by Maya. He's getting closer, and it's leading Maya to ask him questions, too. Why is there a PI? Is Helen dead? Marty mentions Navarro's nephew being there, and Maya says, "Thank you for being honest with me." Man, I don't know. I mean, the trust and naivety here feels a little unrealistic, but perhaps Maya's spidey sense is dulled by the stress of the situation. It could be possible. It could also explain why she would agree to acquiesce to Navarro's last-second meeting details, or demands. Omar is being a tough guy, saying that Maya has to come alone and right now. He doesn't really have the trump cards here. He's the one who needs something from Maya, not the other way around. And what if Javi loses it and kills her? There could be another baby to take care of in the Ozarks, not just Zeke, but fucking Wilson as well. So, yeah, that's the episode, man. Pretty solid stuff. It's really fucking intense. I'm super excited to see how this whole Navarro thing goes on with Maya. We know that Maya can't be killed because, well, this is her only outlet for it, or Navarro's only outlet for a deal, so he can't really kill her. So it's gonna be cool to see how this resolves itself. Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know. Anyways, leave a like, comment, subscribe. As always, it has been GZTV, giving you guys the best TV show reviews out there. Tomorrow we are going to be posting an NFL weekly recap of all the games from this week. Right after I'm done editing and posting this, I will start, kind of clipping those videos and recording and stuff. And I got a little bit of homework today, but for now, I'm watching Monday Night Football. It's going to be lit, so have a good rest of your day, guys.